name is Zheng, and I'm a real estate agent with Coldwell Banker here in Hawaii. Today we're going to go on a driving tour of Waikiki, where I'll point out highlights in real estate and other areas of interest. Alright, let's go! We're now entering Waikiki from Ala Moana side. First off, please excuse the shaky camera and my terribly monotone voice. But if you'll stick with me, I hope you'll find some of the information in this video useful. The pair of cylindrical buildings coming up on the left is the Discovery Bay. A one-bedroom here start at about $255,000 for leasehold ownership. Real estate in Waikiki can be as diverse as the people who visit here. There are hotels, condo hotels, long-term rentals, short-term rentals, leaseholds, timeshares, all mixed in, and it can get a little overwhelming. I'll talk about leasehold properties first, because that's something that's sort of unique to Hawaii. Basically, with leasehold, you purchase a right to use the property for a certain duration of time, anywhere from a couple years to 10, 50 or more. During this time, the property is essentially yours to do with as you please. You can rent it out, you can live in it, you can upgrade it. But once the lease is up, you'll either have to renegotiate for a longer term, or you return the property to the original lessor. Sometimes you can also have the option to purchase the fee, which converts your leasehold property into fee simple ownership. Another thing to consider with leasehold properties is that on top of the maintenance fee, you may also have to pay a lease rent, which can be anywhere from a couple dollars to a few hundred. Okay, that blue and white building coming up is the Ilikai Hotel. It was the first luxury condo in Waikiki when it was built in 1965, and it's famous for having appeared on the TV show Hawaii Five-O's theme song. A studio there starts at around $300K and goes all the way up to $1.5 million for a two-bedroom penthouse. That dark brown building that we're passing on the left is the Palms at Waikiki. A studio with a parking space for under $250K is very desirable there, as most studios in Waikiki do not come with a parking stall. For this part 1 of my driving tour of Waikiki, I'm going to concentrate on the western portion of this city. This portion has a high concentration of hotels and short-term rentals, which are very popular with visitors. A common type of property found in Waikiki are what's called condo hotels, which are basically a mixture of condo and hotel. You can live in these yourself as a second home or rent them out short-term or long-term. If you don't want to manage these properties yourself, you can give them to a hotel pool who will look for potential renters for you. These are convenient, but you do have to split the profits, usually about 50-50. Waikiki is very popular with investors, both local and from out of state. Over 8 million people traveled to Hawaii in 2012, and Waikiki is often their preferred destination. Over 60% of properties in Waikiki are rentals, and hotel rooms had 90.8% occupancy this February. If you're an out-of-state or foreign buyer, there are certain things you should know. First off, it's fairly easy for anyone to purchase real estate in Hawaii. You can even qualify for a loan. Other things to keep in mind: non-residents are subject to state tax withholdings, also federal withholdings if you're not a U.S. citizen. This only applies to you if you're selling your property, and can add up to about 15% of the sales price. The tax withholdings are basically there to ensure that capital gains tax is paid. You can get most of the money back when you do a tax return at the end of the year. So if you're a foreign or out-of-state buyer, you should definitely consult with your financial advisor and a local realtor. If you plan to look at properties during your trip, it's a good idea to call up your favorite Hawaii realtor and have him or her set up showings in advance to make the most of your time here. Also remember that you don't actually have to be on the island waiting for the deal to close if you find something you like. If you have a local contact you trust, you may give that person power of attorney to close the deal for you. If you decide not to use a management company, you are actually required by law to have a local contact to represent you and your investment properties. That tall skinny building on the left there is the Hawaiian Monarch. You can get a studio there starting at around 150K. The units are pretty small, but it is fee simple ownership. Coming up on the left here, that large greenish building is the Waikiki Landmark. It's a luxury condo with prices that start at around 400K for a studio and goes all the way up to a few $1,000,000 for a multi-bedroom unit. It makes for a great secondary or primary residence with many amenities, and it's also pet friendly. Right now, we're traveling along the Alawai Canal. This is one of the three main roads that go through Waikiki. This is a one-way that heads towards Ala Moana. Along the side on the right, there are certain areas where you can park for free. Just make sure you don't park here on Mondays and Fridays between 8:30 and 11:30. That's when they do street cleaning and your car will get towed. That tannish building with the exposed elevator on the left is 1717 Alawai. It has a mixture of leasehold and fee simple properties. That white building with the blue stripe on the left is another popular building. It's called Villa on Eaton Square, and it has mostly studios and one bedrooms for around 400 to 500K. It's mostly fee simple, but there are a few leasehold units in there. If you're looking at properties in Hawaii, especially online, it's not always clear if something is leasehold or fee simple. If the price seems really low compared to what you normally find, then it's probably a leasehold. Leaseholds are not for everyone, but if you're looking at something for the short term, or if you'd like to get into one of the high-end properties in Hawaii for a lower price, a leasehold may be right for you. Coming up on the right is Wailana at Waikiki. It's mostly 2 bedrooms for around 800K fee simple. It's in a convenient location, and on the ground floor is the popular Wailana Coffee House, where you can get breakfast pretty much any time of day. It is open 24 hours every day except Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Across the street on the right is the iconic Hilton Hawaiian Village. It's the largest hotel in the Hilton chain, with 7 buildings and over 3,000 rooms. But none of it is for sale. The road we're traveling on is called Enna Road. Here you'll find Fort Derusi, a military reservation that includes the park and Army Museum on the left. Both are open to the public with free admission. Building coming up on the right is the Waikiki shore. It extends into the beach walk, making it the only true oceanfront condominium in Waikiki. Prices start at 7 to 800,000 for a studio unit and goes all the way up to about 1.5 million for a penthouse suite. Maintenance fees for this building are actually really low, starting at under $200 for a studio unit. It's a popular choice if you want to live in Waikiki yourself or use it as a vacation or second home. The blue building we just passed on the right is the Trump Tower. Completed in 2009, it's currently the newest condominium in Waikiki. Studios start at around $500K and goes all the way up to a few $1,000,000 for a penthouse unit. Speaking of new buildings, across the street on the right behind the Tiffany's is the site of the Ritz-Carlton residences. There will be 2 towers, and development for the first tower has already begun. Units in the first tower are almost all gone, and reservations for the second tower are expected to begin in June. Prices start at around $500K for a studio, and 2 and 3 bedrooms will also be available. The developer is PacRep LLC, which also developed the Trump Tower and Watermark. The project is expected to be completed in late 2015 or early 2016. Alright, we've come to the end of the first part of my driving tour. For the rest of the city, please check out part 2 and part 3. If you have any questions or would like to learn more about properties in Waikiki or anywhere else on the island, please feel free to contact me by email or by phone. Thank you so much for watching, and mahalo.